And we are live with another episode of the Brownwater Banter podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
It is Joey Cates, and we got a good show for you. In the studio, we have Andrew and Ashley from the Grand Bay NERR. We've had probably 3 or 4 of these episodes on the show already before. It's going to be a great conversation. It's a facility located right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. If you haven't heard about it, this is going to be a very informative episode, and you're going to want to stick with us here throughout the whole show. We're going to be talking about turtles, caterpillars, all kind of outdoor wildlife, man. It's going to be cool. But before we jump into the conversation, we have to thank the people that keep the lights on for us over here at the Brownwater Studios. Right out of the gate, Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. If you're looking for a great local dentist, they're located on Washington Avenue in Ocean Springs. You can look them up on the socials at Southern Magnolia Smiles on Facebook and Instagram. 2026 is a year to get those pearly whites shined up and looking good. So you can give them a call at 228-215-1202 and tell them Brownwater sent you. If you need legal representation, Taylor & Cox Law Firm is right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. They are in Jackson County, George County, and Greene County. This is our buddy Tyler right here. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, BUI, family law, divorce, child custody, you name it. If you need someone that's going to fight tooth and nail for you in the courtroom, you can give them a call at 228-696-0111 and tell them Brownwater sent you. If you're trying to get off the couch, move around, start feeling a little bit better, prioritizing your health, Forever Young Men and Women's Health is the one for you. They are also right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Their motto is bringing medicine, health, and exercise together to help both men and women live their best lives. So you book with them, you go in, you get some lab work done, they draw some blood, they go over the results, they see if you're vitamin deficient, hormone deficient. Kendrick right here in the photo, they specialize in testosterone replacement for men and women, believe it or not. So if that's something you want to do, if you want to start feeling better and moving around, give them a call at 228-363-6623. And again, tell them Brownwater sent you. And Joey, here we go. Insured roofing. I don't want to mention anything.
No, we got a little spinny thing out there right now, but I think it's staying off.
That's right. You may want to take a screenshot right here or a picture of this. Hopefully you don't need it for this particular reason, but they do insured roofing. They do Coastal Mississippi's trusted roofing experts. They do replacements, they do repairs, and they do storm damage restoration as well. So if that's something that you need already or that you may need in the future, knock on wood that we don't, you can check them out at insuredroofing.com, and that is spelled ENSURED, insured roof.com, excuse me. Or you can call them at 228-797-7667 and tell them Brownwater sent you. So there we go. That was a mouthful, man. That was cool. So, all right, now that we got that out of the way, thank you all for being in studio and bearing with us there with the little technical difficulty that we had in the beginning. We always enjoy these DMR episodes. We always learn a ton, and the Grand Bay NERR ones are always really cool too, because it's like a little hidden gem over there. It's right by the Alabama, kind of like by the Alabama line, right? Yeah. I got it right. And so we mentioned that we've had episodes about the NERR before, but let's assume that the person watching right now has never heard of what the Grand Bay NERR is. Whichever one of you would like to start, introduce yourself, please, what you do there, and kind of give us a synopsis of what's out there.
My name's Andrew Heaton. I'm one of the biologists out there, and I work a lot on the restoration and land management side of things.
I'm Ashley Bosarge. I'm a stewardship assistant. I help with field work, data entry, pretty much whatever they tell me to do.
There you go. Sweet. Whatever they tell you to do. Whatever I'm voluntold to do, that's what I do. That's right. All right, so what's the NERR? What does it even stand for?
So it's the National Estuarine Research Reserve, and there's 30 of these across the country. It's a partnership between NOAA at the federal level, and then they have a state partner in every state where these reserves exist. So it's DMR in the state of Mississippi. So it's funded 70% through NOAA, 30% DMR. And every NERR in the country has 4 sectors at it. So you have some staff that are they're administrative, some staff that are coastal training programs, which I think you spoke to Margot. Then you have education outreach staff, and then you have what we do, which is stewardship and research. So we're in the sector of the NERR that's taking proper care of the land, making sure savannas are maintained through prescribed burning, removal of invasive species. Mm-hmm. We do surveys for birds and plants and reptiles, amphibians, caterpillars, pollinators, all these things to make sure we're taking care of the habitat and it's in good health. And we're a pretty small staff there, so I think as far as stewardship research goes, there's only 4 of us at the NERR that do that kind of work. So it's us and a couple other folks, and luckily we partner pretty closely with MSU, so they give us a little extra manpower out in the field, but we kind of do everything because we're such a small staff.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's a lot. It's a big place, right? So there's like a lot to do.
Yeah, for sure. And it's open to the public, too. I mean, we have a boat ramp at the end of the road. We have nature trails that we maintain. There's public education events throughout the year. National Estuaries Days next month. I forget which Saturday, but it's an event where families can come out and like tour the reserve on our boats and stuff like that. And then we have games in the uplands and things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
The nature trails, you get to kind of walk through everything and see what all y'all have. Can you ride bikes out there, mountain bikes out there? No? Walking only?
Oh, I'm not sure on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can ride them on the street.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but we have one nature trail that's right at the parking lot. It's called our Savanna Trail, and it takes you through a resource that we work a lot to manage, which is the pine savanna. So open canopies, lots of herbaceous layer diversity, so tons of wildflowers, pollinators, things like that. It's about a mile loop through there. And then further south, down Bayou Heron Road, where we're located, there's another trail called the Oak Grove Birding Trail that goes through more of an oak hammock habitat, and a lot of people visit for birding and things like that.
Okay. That's pretty sweet.
I didn't even know birding was a thing until we heard it on this show.
Yeah. With the boat tours, taking pictures
no
of birds.
idea that birding was a thing.
Oh, it's a big thing.
Oh yeah, it's a hobby. They joke about, like, as you enter middle age, you begin to say like, oh, what's that bird over there?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
You got to put a little stamp in your book.
Yeah.
I seen
Or unless you're like
a tough-breasted titmouse.
Yeah,
Isn't that
exactly.
a bird?
It is a bird.
It is a
that's
bird.
funny.
Yeah.
Unless you're like the tinfoil hat person, though, and you think that all the birds are drones that are here to spy on you from the government,
I don't
too.
know
So.
Well, they do
about
have to charge up at night.
Yeah, they're solar powered, too. So that's awesome. So let's talk. Where do we want to start this thing?
Where is this place?
Oh, yeah,
Where is the? Tell us where it's at.
On the coast?
Yeah, because it's a long way from here.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty close to the Alabama-Mississippi state line,
Right.
off of 90. I don't know if you know where Franklin Creek Road is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Down Bayou Heron Road. Take Pecan to Bayou Heron.
Okay. And what kind of hours do y'all have? Like, if somebody wants to come check out one of these nature trails or see what y'all are doing, what time frame?
Yeah, so the nature trails are open to the public all days of the week during daylight hours. The center itself, which we have an interpretive center on the inside with a lot of educational graphics and an ambassador turtle species, which we'll probably talk about, but that's open to the public from 9 to 3 every day except for holidays. And it's the name is kind of misleading because Grand Bay, you think Alabama, but it's named for the watershed.
Correct.
So it all comes down out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a little confusing because we do overlap with the Grand Bay National Wildlife Refuge. So we kind of co-occur with them, and we do management on their lands and vice versa.
Okay. What
They do a lot of stuff with the youth. That's the first time I ever met y'all. I came over there on a field trip before I even knew what the NERR was. We brought a bunch of kids over there, and they showed them the whole gauntlet. You got a bunch of interactive stuff inside the stuff. I mean, and then walking across the bridge, you get to see the alligators and all. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, and the 9 to 3 that you mentioned is only for the office. Like you can do you said the nature trails are.
Yeah, daylight use
hours.
anytime.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but yeah,
cool.
the office and the stuff that he's talking about going inside,
Yeah.
public restrooms, all that's 9 to 3.
And you did mention a boat ramp. Is there places like you could fish like off of a pier or something like that out there?
Yeah, there's a small pier you can fish off of.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's it gets busy during duck hunting season too. So I mean, it is public land, so it is like open for hunting and stuff like that. As long as people are abiding by the refuge rules and stuff like that. So it's bow hunting for hog and deer in season.
Sweet.
The ducks are the big one. That boat ramp gets pretty full that time of year.
I bet.
The last one before we jump in it, they also have dorms out there, right? Can you explain those for us?
Yeah, we do. So we're pretty fortunate at the NERR, which the building itself is pretty new. So it's under 20 years old, but we have a nice dorm facility there where students, visiting researchers, people like that, and I think maybe just interested members of the public can reach out and book a dorm stay for pretty cheap too. So it's a good resource where we have a lot of, we want more people to be interested in our lands, and it lets, students and some other people come stay out here and do work when they might not be able to otherwise.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
So we're getting into reptiles, right? What are we talking about? We're talking about reptiles, caterpillars,
All the wildlife,
turtles,
baby.
all that stuff. Where y'all want to start?
Yeah, we do a lot of.
Let's get in the weeds too, because
Yeah.
we want this to be informative.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We, like I mentioned, there's only about 4 of us that kind of do the upland stuff, so we sort of do it all, like between, fish sampling, caterpillar stuff. Like if you visit the center now, you'll see caterpillar displays that Ashley maintains, but some of the research and conservation work we do, a lot of my background is in herpetology, which is a field of science that's the study of reptiles and amphibians. So I am mostly doing research and conservation work on 2 species out here, the gopher tortoise and the Diamondback terrapin.
Okay. All right. And that is not a snake.
No, it's
I
not.
learned
It
that.
is a turtle.
In preparation for the show, that is,
Yeah.
it's a turtle.
You should have checked your note, the cliff notes.
Yeah. When I typed it in, it was like,
Yeah.
that's a turtle. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's one not a lot of people get to see because it's the only turtle species that lives exclusively in marsh habitats. So, like when you think of turtles in the uplands, you've got river and pond turtles, things like that. And you got snappers, box turtles you'll see in your yards. Then you think of sea turtles out in the ocean and stuff like that. But in between those two, in the estuaries, which the estuaries are where freshwater meets saltwater, so it's brackish, not as salty. In that little middle strip is the Diamondback terrapins, where that's the only turtle that calls it home, and it's the only game in town right there.
That's awesome.
Sweet. What do you consider the uplands? You kept saying uplands. For the people who don't know what uplands are, what
Me and
are
Joey.
they?
Oh,
Me.
sorry, we use these
Yes.
terms so much I forget. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically I would say like if you're thinking pine forests and things like that. So we kind of exist on this transitional habitat where the upland or the upper part of the reserve that's further north is pine forests and savannas and stuff, and then the further south you go, it transitions into marsh. So all the habitats north of that, where we assume it's mostly freshwater focused, there's not saltwater inundation happening, we call that the uplands.
Yeah. So let's jump into the caterpillars first. I guess that's your babies. Can you tell us what you do every day with the caterpillars?
Yeah, I find caterpillars around the NERR, and I put them in a display. I've got 3 displays in the interpretive center, and I just change out the food, the host plants. There's some signs telling you about them. Anybody can come in. If I'm there, you can hold them if you'd like. Some of them sting, so it's up to you if you want to hold those.
Don't hold that.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't hold that.
Don't hold it
species.
too long.
Yeah,
You hold it for a
Don't
little
touch
bit.
that one.
Yeah.
You can touch that one, not that one.
And what's the research behind that? What are you looking for on those?
Well, it's a good way to get people just in touch, hands-on experience with the outside world. A lot of people don't even realize that these little tiny creatures are all around them. So
Right.
it's just a good way to get kids, focused on the outdoors, get them interested in something.
We had one in our backyard, and it I don't know what the right word is, but like attached to the one of our plants, and we got to watch the whole cycle as it turned into a butterfly.
Yeah.
And we, like I was too. Like we were amazed by like how cool that is.
Yeah.
It is so cool.
What? How many species or amounts or different caterpillars do we have down here that you're watching? You know?
That I'm watching.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch.
Yeah, I'm sure a
but
ton. Yeah.
Not to
I
put you on the
mean,
spot.
yeah, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of species around. Right now in the NERR, I've got, I think, about 6 to 8 different species that
Yeah.
you can come by. But it depends what I find at the time.
Yeah, when you're going through like the wherever they're at, like the woods or whatever, you can you have a few species that you can easily identify through what color, size, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What's like some of the ones that are in the display right now?
The big show stealer right now is the Cecropia. It's the biggest moth in North America. And he'll be spinning his cocoon any day now. I keep thinking he's going to move on to the next stage. And I come in the
That's
morning,
massive.
he's still
He's
there,
big though,
munching
right?
away.
Gigantic caterpillar.
Yeah, like a little hot dog.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
That's the
He's-
ones you use for fish bait when you're not putting them in
No.
the
No, don't do it. Don't
Yeah,
do
don't
it.
do it. No, don't kill the caterpillar.
Yeah, we wouldn't do
She's
that.
also helped to describe a lot of juvenile life stages of like the moths that weren't known before.
Yeah, a lot of people focus on the adults, but so the larval stage is just not known.
Mm-hmm.
People might not know the host plant, might not know what it looks like, might not be any photographs. So a lot of times I'll find something might be unknown and I'll rear it up and
Okay.
get the adult to get the identification.
What's your background? How did you get into this?
My degree is in therapeutic recreation, so nothing to do with this.
Really?
Yeah.
Pivot.
Yeah. So you just enthusiastic about it?
I worked in healthcare for a while and
Yeah.
decided I needed a change of scenery. I love the outdoors, so I participated in AmeriCorps, and here I am.
What
There it is.
AmeriCorps? What is that? Explain it to me.
It's like a short-term job, short-term job that gives you experience in different areas of field work. I did Student Conservation Association, and it just gives you experience in different areas.
Okay. Kind of like like you say, you then figure out like I like this or I don't like that
Yeah.
type thing. Okay. And did you roll right into the NERR after you did that?
No, not quite. I've got a job at the University of South Alabama working as a groundskeeper, and then I found out about the job at the NERR and applied to it.
So you wanted to be outdoors. is what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
That healthcare stuff inside in a hospital
Yeah, you
or
got
rehab
time.
place all day
Yeah.
long.
Fresh air is a whole lot better
Yeah.
than stuffy hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the end game? I mean, you watch it until it turns into a.
Yeah.
All of them turn into a moth.
We have moths or butterflies.
Butterflies, and then you release them out into the wild.
Yep.
So do you pick the caterpillars out of the? You walk around just looking for them. Is that how it goes?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, you got
Like-
got enough territory there to find them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So, I'm sure the kids love it when they come
Oh,
through
yeah.
there to see stuff like that.
Yeah, they love being able to get that hands-on experience, touch it, hold it. And then sometimes I find like an indicator species, like I found it's called an unexpected cycnia, but it's indicative of a healthy, high-quality habitat. So right there at the NERR,
Yeah.
just showing, all their restoration work going to good use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The payoff. They
Yeah,
call that
there
the
it
payoff.
is.
Yeah.
That's
had
why
a
we do that.
We had a class of 40 kids recently where, and sometimes when you're talking to kids and you're talking science, it can be easy to bore them to tears
Right.
and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
Right.
it came up to Ashley's turn to give a talk, and just passing the caterpillars around the room, like
Oh yeah.
that room wasn't quiet for like 1 second after she started.
Mm-hmm.
They were just all so excited.
Yeah, the kids dig that for sure.
Yeah, especially
Adults.
I mean, just watching the light. I mean, what would be cool if you could have like the ball eagle cam to where you could have
Yeah.
the caterpillar do all its stages and then release it out into the wild. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. That would be-
Speaking of something similar, I think they're talking about putting a camera on our osprey nests.
That would be awesome, especially if it's like live, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen those before.
The bald eagles are cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It's pretty brutal though. You got to realize
Yeah.
like these people. I mean, these birds eat like real things.
yeah,
like they're
yeah, they-
bringing fish
kill
and like
shit,
little
yeah.
small cats and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Small
like
cats,
that.
yeah. Oh no, that's
massive.
That's fluffy. You get them
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
How many ospreys do y'all have out there? Like
I don't
nests?
know.
It's kind of funny because if you go to our Savannah Trail, there's a big power line right of way that sort of intersects it, and you see it running down. Like you can look to the right and see into Alabama, but every power line structure on that whole power line right of way has one osprey nest on it.
Yeah.
So they figured out it's man-made but sturdy, and there's one osprey nest on each one. And
Oh, yeah.
there's one right on top of our trail, so you can see it if you're looking up right as you start walking the trail. And I've had moments where I've forgotten there is an osprey nest out there, and I'll be walking a group through the trail and be like, why is there half of a fish in the middle of our savanna?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we had one at on our baseball field in
Okay.
Diablo Middle when I used to play there, and
Yeah.
literally in the middle of the game, like branches, like full blown branches would fall on top of the dugout, pow, from the dang osprey nest.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What do you know? When do they like nest when they're rearing their young? Is it year round? Is it a couple months at a time and then they leave and come back? Like how does that work?
I think it's once per year. They just, their juveniles just left the nest here
Yeah.
recently.
They
Okay.
just
I'm just thinking like on those the power lines. Like I get it, way sturdier. You don't have to, you
Yeah.
know, like you're probably nothing messing with you as much. But like it would be super hot, right? Because there's no coverage like it would be in a tree.
Don't
That's
worry about
true.
Bird, man. They're cool.
Yeah.
They're
I guess
cool.
it's good
no.
that they're done by summer. Those eggs would be cooked.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they're up there in that metal power line. Yeah, you're right.
That'd be
just
hot.
sit there roasting.
Yeah,
All right, so what else we got? We went to caterpillars. What's the star of the show? Are we talking about turtles now?
we got
Sure,
you.
yeah.
We
I
got
mean,
you.
the terrapin is a big one of conservation interest right now because it's not endangered, but it has been proposed to get listed. So it's in a period of review right now where everybody that's doing research on this turtle species in all parts of its range are kind of putting our heads together and having these meetings like how is it in Texas versus how is it in Massachusetts, and what's the threats against it here versus the threats against it up there. And there's multiple things in our area. Well, actually, throughout its whole range, bycatch and crab pots is a big one. So that's drowned them historically, but also if we're talking Hancock County, like feral hogs get out in the marshes and they'll eat all the terrapin nests. Fortunately for us, the feral hogs can't get out to our marsh beaches. But there's, different threats kind of hitting them in each part of their range. And also, to get a little science nerdy about it, the NERR is in a retrograding delta, which means the shoreline is retreating back because however many thousands of years ago the path of a river changed and sediment isn't being replaced the way it was.
Erosion, yeah.
Yeah, so these marsh beaches that the terrapins require for nesting are kind of retreating too. So one of our conservation projects right now, there's a beneficial use program that DMR has where they use dredge spoil for marsh creation projects, which has a lot of good environmental benefits, but it also benefits us. It dampens the power of storm surges and all these other things. It's the it's the juvenile rearing ground of blue crabs and all these other things. So there's a lot of impact for it. But we're looking at restoring some marsh beach in these areas to try to help the terrapins here. But yeah, the numbers have been seeming pretty low. We're out trapping them pretty often, trying to put some acoustic tags on the females to see how they're moving between nesting beaches, and just the numbers we're finding are pretty low.
Damn.
So,
okay. Talk to me about that acoustic tag and like how you get it on them. Like,
Before we do that,
yeah.
what's the difference between a terrapin and a turtle?
So
I thought it was a turtle.
Yeah, it is a turtle. It's kind of a semantics thing, like all tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. It's just a specific type of turtle.
Like bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah,
There you
kind
go.
of same
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah. And all toads are frogs, not all frogs are toads.
Right.
Yeah. Wait, what? What?
That still blows
Hold on
kids'
a minute,
minds.
man.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
So
Walk us through
explain
that.
that. Yeah.
Explain what the terrapin.
Terrapin,
yeah.
Terrapin versus turtle.
Oh yeah, so the terrapin is a specific type of turtle, and it's just talking about the turtles that live in the marsh.
Okay.
So yeah,
So he's still a turtle.
all of these things fall under the umbrella of turtles. But
He could still be a ninja if he hit the ooze. Is what he's saying.
yeah, if they go to school and get the funding, they can do it.
You can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah,
turtle.
that's
yeah,
right.
I love it.
All right, so go ahead. Where we're at?
The acoustic tags.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
How do they work, and then how do you even walk us from trapping to what the tag is? That's pretty cool.
Absolutely, and it's a kind of hard labor because I'm setting out these. So when we trap turtles, and people do this for farming, and folks that eat turtles do this too. But you set out hoop nets, which is it can be 3 or 4 foot tall circle, and I use 7 hoop nets. You set them out in an area of a pond, a river, a marsh, and you can either bait these traps to get things to come to them. But I'm not baiting our traps because anytime I do that where we live, you just get alligators in your traps and it just messes your stuff up. So I use something called a drift net in front of that to block off these little tidal channels in the marsh or these creeks, so that anything traveling through it will hit this drift net and follow it down and end up in the trap. So that's how I trap them. And what I'm trying to do right now, like looking at the movement of these nesting females, is a lot of people know that turtles have very specific home ranges. Like sea turtles return to the same nesting beach year after year. Box turtles like to live within a mile radius or whatever. So we're trying to see if we do create new marsh beach, will they go to it and accept that as a new nesting beach? So we're very fortunate because, like I said, we have a small staff. It's like 3 or 4 of us doing most of this field work, and we're sinking up to our hips in the mud and dragging these nets and like getting ourselves a workout out in this 100-degree heat.
Yeah.
But we're very fortunate that MSU is doing a lot of fish work, and their labs use acoustic receivers. They're looking at sheep's head and a couple other species I don't remember offhand. But when they tag these fish, if a fish passes by this acoustic receiver, the tag will ping the receiver. So it's not like satellite telemetry where you're measuring exactly where something's going, but they go and download the data from these acoustic receivers, and then that tells them how the fish have been moving. So knowing that they did that, we were like, okay, we can tag our terrapins with the same type of tag, and then also look at their movements without us physically having to be the ones that monitor, I don't know how many, 50 receivers in the estuary, and you have to clean them and replace batteries, and you have to go out periodically to download data. You have to remove them all if storms are coming and things. So we were like, we can just piggyback off them and not have to do all of that work, but then not have to spend all that money.
Yeah,
and
why
then
don't you use their stuff?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's already out there.
Yeah.
Might as well use it.
You don't mind, do you?
Yeah. So it's perfect. And I'm glad we can collaborate with them like that because, it saves so much money, so much time and effort, and we're a real small staff. And, hopefully at the end of this, it's going to lead to some cool conservation data.
Yeah, okay. It sounds like it's like a license plate reader. It
it
pings them
scan
every time they go by.
It is, yeah. They have a unique number, and I can say, I can look at it and say, like, oh, this one traveled 5 miles, or this one just stayed right here the whole time.
Now, we've talked through these DMR episodes about how the tagging of fish and how complicated that can be. We even got into like fish anesthesia on one of these episodes. But so how do you actually attach that receiver to the turtle without it hurting them or without it getting off, falling off?
Yeah, so it's a lot easier than fish tagging, luckily, because they can be out of the water. Well, and they kind of have to be. So I use an epoxy. You mix it with an activator, and you do have to let it harden for a while. But these tags are pretty small. They're not even the width or the length of your finger, and they're pretty lightweight. But I attach it to the back of their shell with an epoxy, and the batteries can last 1.5 years up to 2 years. I have to keep them dry while it's hardening, and then usually after a day, I have them back released where they came from. But they are going to pop the tags off eventually, but hopefully it's just not until the battery has run out. Because turtles shed like all reptiles do, but people don't realize that they shed in a different way. So each little plate on their shell is called a scoot, and they shed their scoots. So those plates will pop off like one by one as they're shedding.
Oh,
so
wow.
eventually,
it'll pop the tag off automatically.
Yeah, so we're not going to try to attach it to a place that we notice is shedding or anything like that. But eventually, the turtle will be fine and healthy. There's no hitchhiker, and it will pop those plates off that have the tag. But hopefully, it's not for a couple of years, so I can get my data.
Yeah.
Well,
really.
how many turtles you got tagged right now? Do you know?
So we just started doing that this season, and we only have 5 out right now because the tags are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to deploy about 7 more. These turtles nest in the summer, so the early birds get going about May, and then they finish up around August. But I'm hoping to get them all deployed before nesting season's over.
And they're all females, correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm targeting, just because our conservation issue is the nesting beach kind of issue.
How big are these turtles? What are we talking about?
About like you were saying, they can be maybe foot and a half. So it's not as big as a sea turtle, but
That's fully grown.
Yeah, and the females get bigger than the males, and they have really huge heads on them because they're out there eating fiddler crabs and these marsh snails and stuff like that. So they have to be able to break the shells open and things like that.
Okay.
Which they're also
that's pretty
considered
cool.
sort of a keystone species. Like you need them for the marsh to be healthy, because it's thought that they eat all these snails and these other things that are eating the marsh grasses.
Mhm.
So they have to be there to be a control for that. And then when terrapins aren't there, the grazers can mow down the marsh grass a lot more. Erosion gets to be worse.
Yeah.
Storm surges start hitting harder.
Mhm.
So it's the big food web part of it's important too.
Yeah.
Do they do the same thing as sea turtles? They dig a nest, lay the eggs, do all that stuff?
They do, yeah, and that's that part of it. We did a round of camera trapping to make sure that wasn't another conservation issue, because we're talking about listing and stuff, so we want to know all the threats impacting them. So one threat could be invasive species, and feral hogs are the main one right here that could be eating the nest. But we did a round of camera trapping for one summer, and we found that mostly the nest predators out here are coyotes and raccoons. So it's native predation, so I'm not too worried about it. But other people that are trying to head start turtle nests, or y'all have probably seen sea turtle nests, they'll go out and put a little cage around it or something, because it's the first 2 days after a female makes the nest are when it's most likely to be predated, because all turtles, to make their nest, they'll urinate wherever they're about to make it, so their back legs can churn it up. But then coyotes and foxes and all this stuff coming through, the scent is
Smell it, yeah.
So if I see turtles nesting like in my yard or the reserve, even if it's box turtles or sliders or something, I put a little cage on top of it, like half of a minnow trap is what I usually use, and even just putting it there for a week or two or until the next rain happens or something, gives it a real head start at the nest being successful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What is the time on that? If you see a turtle nesting or you catch one, how long does it take for the eggs to come up?
60 days is the average. It can be a little shorter or a little longer, because reptiles are all of their life history is based on temperature, basically.
Right.
So how warm or cold the nest is during incubation is going to drive it. But about 2 months, yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I had one in my backyard, and somebody told me that put a nest on it. I mean, put a trap on it so nothing can get to it. And literally the next day, someone had dug it up and got all the eggs out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
So does the female go back and forth on the eggs, or they just sit there and do their thing?
No, they there's no parental control, so they lay them and they leave. A female can nest up to 3 times in a nesting season, so she might come back for that. But there's no parental care in the turtle, so they just kind of lay it and leave.
She lays a leg.
Oh,
and she's
okay.
gone.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
she's
Now.
gone.
I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
there's the sort of thought in ecology is the number of offspring is related to the amount of parental care. So if you think about a dolphin or something like that might have 1 or 2 offspring, there's a lot of effort is put into parental care, whereas a sea turtle that lays 200 eggs,
Right. They're we don't care.
That's the boost of survival right there.
Yeah, we'll lose some.
What do
Who
these
gives a
turtles
shit?
usually lay?
Number
of eggs.
It's like 8 to 12 about there. But the older a turtle gets, the bigger its reproductive output can be. So that's why, especially road mortality versus turtles and stuff, when you see it's taking out an old one in the population, that hurts more, because the older ones are putting
Produce
more eggs out.
Yeah.
And that's another big part of it too. So for turtles in general, the females have to move more than the males. So they'll all move to some extent for foraging and mating and things like that. But females need the extra movement of searching for nesting sites and then nesting and stuff. So road mortality on turtles is up biased towards females also, which is another thing kind of going against the population.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
They always get hit. It's terrible too.
Yeah.
Is it true that if I see a box turtle or any kind of turtle on the road and it's facing this way, I need to pick it up and move it that way because it's going that way, and I need to keep it in the same direction or her in the same direction?
Yeah, that's completely right. Yeah, they say don't relocate them, but when they say that, they mean like don't drive 2 miles down the road and put it somewhere. But yeah, just moving it across the road is the right thing, and especially in spring you see a lot of it, and then in fall you see a lot of it because they do what's called brumation. So warm-blooded animals, think of bears and stuff, they hibernate. Reptiles brumate, so they kind of go into this form of stasis in winter, and then when they're getting active again in the spring is when you start to see a lot of them crossing the roads.
Yeah. When it's that winter time, like you just mentioned, do they not have to eat as much and they just kind of just chill, or what's that like for them? Because it gets kind of cold down here from about a week.
Yeah, that's how.
About 2 or 3 days.
3 days, they got to really figure that out.
But it's a good 3 days.
Yeah.
It's really cold, though.
Yeah, man, that was cold.
Yeah, they're exactly the opposite of what you would imagine a bear doing. So if we think of a bear hibernating, we imagine it like gorging and getting real fat, and then like being in a cave and it's using all the fat storage because we're warm-blooded and our metabolism is based on what we eat and food energy. But reptiles are cold-blooded, so their metabolism and everything about their activity is kind of fueled by external heat. So you need whatever the ambient temperature needs to be up. You need sunlight. So they'll actually kind of starve themselves when they go into brumation and empty their gut completely because their metabolism isn't going to really be active when they're in brumation. Nothing's happening or moving. And if it did have a gut full of stuff, sometimes you can get like GI impactions because their metabolic processes aren't going to be happening. They're not going to be defecating. It's just going to be like sitting there in their gut. So yeah, they do the complete opposite. And then in spring, they wake up real hungry, and that's when you see them out crossing, foraging. Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying, they're like, that was cool too. I didn't know that. Like more specifically though, are they just chilling in one spot and they're not moving and they're like in their shell and they're almost like asleep, or are they doing anything at all?
Yeah, they're just sitting in one spot, but because of where we live, that we're kind of an exception to the rule. So if we think of, United States as a whole, you can say as a quote-unquote rule, like, yeah, they're brumating, they're sitting in one spot buried in leaf litter under some mud or something until it's warm enough for them to move again. But like you said, we have some warm winters. So I'll see box turtles out, and y'all probably have in January, February sometimes. So they might not even brumate some seasons down here.
I can see it.
Some years they do.
Too daggum hot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you think of like Michigan, Wyoming versus us. Like they're definitely brumating up there.
And they're not moving. They're just chilling for that time.
Yeah, us is hit or miss. It really depends on our weather.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, that's cool. You get a little more activity down here if you're a turtle, right?
That's it.
You get to roll year round.
Yeah,
it's always
a little more life
degrees.
down here. I'm headed down to the south, man. I hear they get to, you can stay alive a lot
2
longer.
weeks. 2 weeks. That's all you get.
That's it. Yeah. And they can get bigger for that reason. Something a lot of people don't know about box turtles is that when they're younger, you can look at the scutes, which are those plates on the shell, and they'll have rings on the scutes, and you can kind of count those rings and estimate their age like you would a tree. But then again, it's not as consistent in our part of the range because the reason they have those rings, which are called annuli, is because they go into brumation, say if you're further north, and they stop growing because they're not eating. So the line on their shell like hardens into place. It forms that line there. And then in spring comes, they start eating and the shell starts growing a little bit. So you have a real defined line, and you can say like that's one winter, that's one winter. But
we don't rock them winters down here. They just keep on going.
That's it.
They got like some wobbly lines and shit where it kind of stops.
Just one big gigantic shell. We ain't got the winters.
Yeah, it's just a Joy Division T-shirt on their shell.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Are any of the we know more for like the saltwater offshore kind of thing? We've made the joke on the podcast before. You'd be better off to shoot a human than mess with a sea turtle.
Yeah.
What are any of these turtles that you're talking about? Are any of them protected? Are any of them hunted? Do people eat them?
Yeah, people do eat them. There are endangered species in our state that are protected, and you can't. Sea turtles are protected everywhere. Yeah. We have a couple other endangered species locally. The Alabama red belly, the gopher tortoise isn't endangered, but it's one you can't take. People can harvest turtles if you have your small game hunting license, which I keep my hunting license up. And not because I'm a hunter, but I do have respect for it because that's a completely natural thing. But
Yeah.
the hunting license counts for take from the environment. So I'll even head start turtles over winters sometimes. And I know I'm doing it by the books because I have my hunting license. So I took them from the wild, and then it's like same as if you were taking them to hunt them or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But there's a lot of species, you can hunt and people can eat, and I think people still do, yeah.
So let me make sure I'm understanding you right. You have your hunting license because you take these turtles out of the wild and like bring them home and raise them up and then re-release them.
Yeah,
And so anytime you
captivity.
you take out of the wild, you really you're supposed to have a license to do that.
Yeah, or even if you keep it as a pet or anything, and it's cheap. I keep my annual license like $10 or something. But it's the same. If you were to hunt turtles, that's the same license you would use to go take sliders and stuff like that in the traps.
Okay.
We talked about.
So like the terrapin, like he's not protected.
Yeah, the terrapin isn't protected right now, so they are in this period of proposal for listing. So that might change in the next couple of years, but right now. And, I mean, that might be another thing kind of hitting them from all sides. But, if you have your license, I think what it says is you're allowed to take 4 in a season.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
Have you ever eaten them?
I've had turtle soup.
Yeah, that I know of. I've never
That's
tried
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, turtle soup is usually it's always going to be the bigger turtles because that's what's being most productive.
Yeah.
So you're likely eating snapper or soft shell when you're eating turtle soup.
There it is.
But
Just don't kill any turtles. Turtles are cool, man.
Yeah, they are
Super
cool, but I just wonder what they taste like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It probably
actually-
tastes
Because
delicious.
alligators taste amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the tail meat. So
Well, there's a lot of them. You can kill all
That's what
of
I'm
them.
saying.
There's a bunch of them.
Alligator's great.
Yeah.
And a reason, the turtles, so it's actually the most endangered group of vertebrates. So half of all turtle species that exist are threatened or endangered. And part of it is that life history that they have to reach like 10 or 15 years of age, depending on the species, before they can reproduce. Whereas if you're talking about a hog or a lizard or something, if one of those dies,
or a rabbit,
it's replaced
It's
immediately.
replaced, in 30 seconds with a hog.
And turtles are slow.
Yeah.
That's
They
working
are
against
that.
them.
Yeah.
They are.
What is there? Do y'all work with the? I guess it's IMMS. Who does the turtle rescue? Is there? Do y'all work with those sometimes?
The sea turtles specifically. My old job was at IMMS, but the sea turtles specifically. There's rescue programs at IMMS and the aquarium, so you'll see both of those doing releases. But there's the Mississippi Turtle Rescue up in Jackson does turtles specifically. So a lot of times, if you have any other species that's not a sea turtle and you bring it to a rescue, a lot of times it makes its way up to the Mississippi Turtle Rescue around there, which is it's a great nonprofit.
What do we do if we see or a hurt turtle or something that's been hit or something that's still moving? What can we do to do that?
So the wildlife rescue that's most local to us would be Wild at Heart over here. So we've brought plenty of stuff.
She's right up the road.
Yeah, Missy. Yeah, and
really cool.
She does a lot of help for a lot of people, and we even we do education events throughout the year. There's one called Star Party where we're doing hay rides for kids and stuff. And when we're done with these education events, we bring the hay over to Missy, and she has a few animals she uses them for and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
what's crazy is, she was asking for bra straps.
Yeah.
So like the bra straps, you cut the ends off of it, and that's what they hook the shells back together with. They tape them on there, and they hook them back together so the dang turtles grow back. The shell, it's bad. Yeah,
that's pretty
sweet. Yeah.
You seen a turtle skeleton, like his whole,
it's crazy.
It's wild when they look. It's crazy.
Yeah.
One more question that I had, I don't know if you got anything else, Joey, before we kind of wrap things up, was you mentioned right when we started talking about like the stuff that you're studying, and I think it was the turtles you were referring to. I can't remember exactly, but you have like, you're studying this stuff here, they're on the East Coast doing it, like all these different, NERRs, I think you said, like all throughout the U.S., like doing their own kind of research. How do y'all, is there a network where you all, speak and share what you've found, and is there any kind of directive that says, hey, go look for this, go look at that, we need to study that? What is that like?
Yeah, so the Diamondback Terrapin research actually isn't like necessarily under the umbrella of the NERR. It's a topic I was interested in, and we will occasionally like pitch our own stewardship and research projects if we have the time for it to go after, a resource we're interested in, like the caterpillars for Ashley is something that's not under the purview of the NERR, but we have this specialist with us, and now we can do all this cool stuff. But the terrapin stuff, there is a Diamondback Terrapin working group, and it's not necessarily all NERRs, but they have worked to find who in all of these states is studying terrapins, and a lot of times it's state organizations like it is for us, and then a lot of times it's also universities, which I've been glad to see everybody really working and communicating now, because we figured out that a lot of people are had some like overlapping project ideas. Like Mississippi in particular is a huge data gap because I've been working on them at the NERR for the past 5 years, but before that there wasn't a ton of work done, or it was very start-stop, so there's not a lot of data on it. And we realized there were some researchers from Texas and Florida and Alabama that all had proposals to like start doing some work out here to kind of figure out the issues. And luckily through this working group, we're all kind of working together and sharing data, sharing what the unique ID of the turtles are. So if somebody finds a turtle of mine in Dolphin Island, they'll know because we're sharing a database.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been really cool now. And that's usually the process for any listed or endangered species. There's some sort of working group that is looking at that species and they're communicating about it.
Okay, so do you like when you collect this data? Where do you report it to? Is there like a like a online database, or is there a parent agency that says this is what we need, go get it, and you go get it and send it back to them, or are you typing reports every day? Like I'm thinking like more your day to day and how that works.
Yeah, so we have databases we keep up with. We do enter it in Excel and Google Sheets and all this stuff, but at the end of a project period, typically. So they like to say that all scientists are writers because we do all have to publish manuscripts and stuff. Like if you're an ornithologist, you're writing about birds. If you're an entomologist, you're writing about bugs.
You knew that.
I had no.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
I've heard it before, but I didn't know that. Yeah.
The biggest bird I've met right here.
Yeah, that's it. Big bird.
But yeah, it's like, well, we do the field work and then we do the science nerd in our cave thing where we're writing code to do data analysis, statistics. In the end of it, we try to publish manuscripts and get it out into the world, because if you don't communicate the things that you've done, it's like they haven't happened. And somebody else would have to come up behind you and do the same research to find the things you've done. So yeah, it's a lot of publishing. And then you also go to scientific conferences and stuff and give talks on what you've done to try to get the word. So it's like, yeah, in writing and then like talking and
okay.
that.
It kind of mirrors like going back to the healthcare stuff. Like that's kind of my world, like peer-reviewed, studies, and then you publish in like a medical journal or medical articles and stuff like that. So kind of the same thing.
That's exactly it. Yeah, there's scientific research journals for all different walks of life for science. So you can have zoology journals, herpetology journals, ones focused on estuaries, things like that.
And then do y'all get to, because you mentioned it, you kind of picked the turtle route, and then you kind of like caterpillars, you get to kind of show up to work and say, this is what I'm interested in. Is there some gap in the knowledge, and can that fit into what we do at the NERR, and you get to make that call yourself?
Kind of. Yeah, so we do have like the restoration projects that we have grants and like the things we're required to do. So actually the things we've talked about today are kind of like passion projects. So like a lot of our day-to-day is actually pine savanna restoration work.
Okay.
So we're surveying for plants, we're surveying for birds, making sure that these populations are coming back to the savannas as we restore them, like showing that we do it correctly. Invasive species treatment work, prescribed burns. So a lot of that is kind of the stuff we're paid to do. And then if we're able to have enough time to fit in these passion projects like caterpillars and terrapins and stuff, then we're fortunate to be able to pitch those.
This is y'all's hobby.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah,
I
we
like
do a lot
that.
of vegetation monitoring, and winter is all about bird monitoring.
We went out there and did the loop, the little thing you dropped it in, and you had to identify each little plant that was coming up and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Do y'all ever you have a job where you go to work every day and just like, this is great and I love it, and you just like kind of always have a good day?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate in that way, and I feel like my wife works in one of the jobs where it's like not only is she inside all the day or the whole day, there's not even a window, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
pretty much in jail from 9 to 5.
Yeah,
right.
I
So
can relate to that.
I can never feel bad about like my day at work, even if I've been out. Like I had a couple days 2 weeks ago where it was 12 hours just eaten up with horseflies and mosquitoes. The sun's got me rotten like a pumpkin out there.
Still worth it. Still worth it.
Yeah,
A bad day outside is better than a
100%.
Good day inside.
1,000%.
That's right. What can we tell the people as we wrap this up? What do you have anything coming up? An event. I think you mentioned the hayride. Is that? I know you do something around Halloween. Do I have that right?
Oh, so we're doing National Estuaries Day. Do you know what day offhand? I don't think I remember.
It's probably on your Facebook page, right?
It's going to be on our socials. It's about a month from now, and it's going to be on a Saturday. But National Estuaries Day is where we kind of teach anyone that wants to attend about what we do. So you can get in our pontoon boats and go through the marsh, see all our different habitats, our shell middens, which are really cool, see all the water chemistry work we do. We typically have a lot of critters to show the kids and stuff like that. She'll probably have a caterpillar station set up.
Tell
Awesome.
them about the pollinator census.
Oh, the pollinator census. That's right. That's I'm doing an event for the public on August 21st. That's a Friday, where it's the Mississippi's first year as part of the Southeast Pollinator Census, where it's a really easy citizen science project, but it gives us a huge snapshot of data through the whole region. Where if people want to come out to the reserve at 9, I'm going to be leading some walks, and we're going to find plants being visited by pollinators, and then anyone that wants to do some monitoring with me, we'll just survey these plants for 15 minutes, and I'll have a checklist of the different pollinators to see what is visiting what species of plant, and it'll give us this big snapshot of host plants and pollinators and a lot of great stuff like that. So that's Friday, August 21st. And then we do a star party every December, which is our big public education event where we do stargazing. I lead owl walks for people, like listen
sweet.
to
What?
the owl
That'd be
calls.
cool. Yeah.
There's free food like soup. There's cookies that kids can decorate. There's typically little art projects. We send them home with tree ornaments that they
Yeah.
build.
Santa Claus is there.
Yeah. Claus
Santa's
is
there.
Is there fees or sign up? How do you get involved with it?
There probably will be a sign up, but there's no fees. Part of it, us being a government agency, is we do two things, and one is like we're good stewards of these lands, and the other thing is we serve the public. So like anybody that wants to come out, like this is our service for the public to come have something to do with your family.
Right.
Okay, I'm looking on your Facebook page right now, and I'm seeing past events, but I think we got to update some of the events right now. I don't know
Who's your social media guy?
We gotta get that a little
on
updated
there.
here because I see
Yeah.
the star party from last year,
Yeah.
which looks pretty cool, and then I also see where you did something back in April of this year. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah.
April this year is the only 26
I
event.
think the website
see.
has a calendar of events also.
Okay, so maybe
Is that the DMR website?
The Grand Bay NERR website.
Okay.
okay. Let me see if I can find that. But anyway,
Yeah. Where's the best place to find y'all? Where's the best place to figure out what's going on in y'all's world?
Yes, I think the calendar she mentioned might be the best one for now, but we do post our events on our Facebook and Instagram. Typically, it's a little bit closer to time, so like the event for December probably won't be up until like November, that sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, the National Estuaries Day event or flyer should be getting shared around pretty soon, so follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or check our website for sure.
And if I'm a teacher, I got kids, I want to do a field trip, is that where I found the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look on our website, all the staff will be listed, and you'll see like who the education coordinator is out there, and you'll be able to email her. And if they've got space, like bring them out. They do homeschool groups too. And
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
yeah.
There's always a group of people there.
Yeah.
Kids, adults.
That's like I said, the first time I went over there, I took 50 kids over there on a bus, and we jumped out and did all the walking and saw the
Yeah, it's
nests and everything like that.
there's a lot of opportunity for anyone. Like we do veterans groups, we do kayak trips for them, and like recreation stuff for veterans. We do groups of blind folks where we've done like classes teaching frog calls and stuff like that, and just different ways for people to appreciate the outdoors.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Y'all are doing cool stuff, cool science stuff.
Yeah.
That pollination stuff. I mean, man, bring some kids out, even adults, like, and try to figure out, like, we get so detached from the world or like the environment.
Well, everybody's doing this.
Yeah, like these computers and all that stuff. It's cool to like realize, like, hey, we live on like this, living organism thing we call a planet, and maybe let's learn a little
Really
bit about
cool.
it, right?
Yeah, looking at one plant and just seeing all the different things that are happening at one time blows my mind sometimes. I was looking at just this species called the blazing star that was in bloom and being visited by a bunch of moths and beetles, and at the same time there's praying mantises like grabbing them as they're pollinating. I'm like, this is all happening on one plant in front of me. It's cool.
That's wild. That is wild. Well, we want to thank y'all for coming in here, stopping by, and taking time out of your day
Good show
to
again.
come chat with us and teach us some stuff. It's very cool. I hope the audience there got something out of that. It was a lot of information. And go check it out.
Yeah.
Go to y'all's Facebook page, the Grand Bay NERR Facebook page, and look at the stuff that they got going on, and go check it out. Because like I said, it's a government, so it's like free to the public to go check out.
Yeah, it's a service for our community.
That's
right.
right.
Go
That's
check
right.
it out.
Yeah, go get in nature and get off the screens a little bit. So.
Get off, put the phones
That's
out.
right. We appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching on the lives and the replay, man. If y'all keep tuning in, we'll do them. Don't forget to go download the Brownwater Banter app. It's free on the App Store and Google Play. It's got all our stuff in there, all the old episodes, YouTube, audio, stuff like that.
It'll have this episode.
It'll have this
fairly
episode
quickly.
right in there. That's
Yeah.
right. So if y'all keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them. We'll see you on the next one.
Later.
Thanks so much for checking out the show. We really appreciate the support. If you haven't downloaded the Brownwater Banter app yet, go do it. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play. We have everything covered for a day out on the water. We've got the tides, the radar, Tails and Scales app. We've got a radio station right inside of it, and it's all free. All of our content is in there. You can listen to the show directly inside of the app. Make sure you keep your notifications turned on so you can stay in touch with us as we go live with guests in the future and plan events. If y'all keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them. We'll see you on the next one.
Brown Water Banter.